Hello, I finished reading this whole book in English and in German, and this morning I uploaded the last chapter of Briefings onto my BitChute, and then I realized I was missing something after all, and that's the editor's notes, and that is actually quite interesting and relevant. So I have decided to add this to the last word chapter, or not added, make another chapter, and I will start this final chapter with Tom's Prayer. This is the only planet of choice, published in 1993 with an additional chapter in this particular issue. It was transmitted in trance by Phyllis Schlemmer, and she had a team, an aristocrat and a scientist, Andrzej Puharich and Sir John Whitmore, as helpers who helped her because she went in a trance. They asked the questions and then she transmitted the messages from Tom. And here this book ended, where they say at the end of each transmission, Tom always says, "Tell our being of our love for her, and if nobody tells her, she does not know." So here is Tom's prayer, and I want to also give you the editor's note. This is page 333. Today is the 29th of October 2021. Most of this book, of course, was read last year in July. From the Council of Nine for the Nations of Earth, 1994. We pray that the nations of the earth come to peace within themselves and come to recognize whence they came. We pray that all the civilizations of the universe that are engaged in the balancing of the universe be given strength and peace within, so to carry on the work to which they are committed. We pray that the physical beings of the planet Earth come into a state of awareness and understanding, in order for their souls to evolve, to raise the level of the planet Earth and to cleanse the heavens around the planet Earth so that the universe can progress. We pray that those beings and civilizations that are opposing what we do come to the light of understanding, so that they also come into perfect balance. We pray that the day may soon come when all in the universe have the knowledge and the understanding that will make them whole. We pray for understanding among ourselves and for the strength that is needed, so that each of us can guide the nations and the others to become perfect beings. We pray for the souls of the children of the earth to be brought out of the dark and into the light. Tom. Editor's notes. He has segregated that in various sections. So the first one is history. Editor's notes, history, 334. Point 1. Compared with the preceding Neanderthals, who displayed virtually no technological innovations during more than 100,000 years of existence, the Aurignacian, Aurignacian, Cro-Magnon peoples were able to realize with increasing rapidity a wide range of social, technological and mythological possibilities. Having surveyed some of the key developments of the Aurignacian in technology, body ornamentations and representations, one is led to ask whether there is any way to tie them together. Close to the heart of these developments is an increased ability to think in and communicate by means of specific visual images. This quote is from Visual Thinking in the Ice Age by Randall White, Scientific American, Volume 261, July 1989. In the last few years, information that the Nine supplied 20 years ago has been corroborated by new evidence. As one authority described the findings, after an evolutionary struggle lasting millions of years, our species emerged as top hominid. And then, in one spectacular moment, we became human. As recently as 35,000 years ago, Western Europe was still occupied by Neanderthals, primitive beings for whom art and progress scarcely existed. Then there was an abrupt change. Anatomically modern people appeared in Europe, and suddenly so did sculpture, musical instruments, lamps, trade and innovation. Within a few thousand years Neanderthals were gone, insofar as there was any single moment when we could be said to have become human. It was at the time of this great leap forward, 35,000 years ago. From the Great Leap Forward, Dawn of the Human Race by Jared Diamond in Discover the World of Science of May 1989, refer also to The Search for Modern Human by John J. Putnam, National Geographic Magazine, October 1988. Point 2. The beginnings of Egyptian civilizations have been a perpetual source of mystery for historians and archaeologists. For the elements which were made up later Egyptian civilizations suddenly seemed to appear at once, in the 4th millennium BC. Egypt moved straight from the stage of pre-civilization to the government of large areas, without the usual era of city-states intervening. The ordinary logic of historical developments does not apply to Egypt, as it does to Mesopotamia. 3. The Sumerian civilizations in our historical records began around 6000 to 5000 BC in what is now southern Iraq. 4. Around AD 1200 there was a close relationship between the Mongol emperors of China, Mongka Khan and Kublai Khan, and the Tibetan lamas Sakya Pandita and Karma Pakshi. However, Strongston Gampo, a powerful Tibetan king in the early 600s and the first Buddhist monarch of Tibet, had a Chinese wife and a Nepalese wife, both of whom were responsible for converting him to the Buddha Dharma. 5. Ionis, also known as Jonah, was half man, half fish in mythology, the god of the water depth and a friend to people. He brought culture, literacy and science to the ancient of Ur, and was looked on as a potter who shaped the lives of men and gods. His wife was Hinlil, goddess of grain, and wheat is reputed to have been given to humanity by these two. 6. The Kahuna are the indigenous medicine men of the Hawaii Islands, possessing an advanced philosophy of life. 7. Megiddo is recognized by archaeologists to date back to at least to Chalcolithic settlements around 4000 BC, the time of Upper and Lower Egypt and the Sumerian city-states. And 20 occupation levels have been identified. It was attacked, reopened and rebuilt, not only by the local people, but also involving Phoenicians, 1490s BC, Egyptians, 1460 BC. When Joshua and the Israelites entered the area from Sinai, about 1250 BC, Megiddo, with Jericho, was one of the Canaanite strongholds, and archaeological remains demonstrate a formidable level of civilization there. It was completely rebuilt as a fortified city by Solomon, 950 to 940 BC, then destroyed and reconstructed by the Assyrians in 733 BC, and the Mesopotamians were involved around 730 BC. It went into terminal decline at the time of the defeat and death of Joshua in 609 BC. 8. Kingston upon Thames has a landscape zodiac, miles wide, similar to the Glastonbury zodiac, as was identified by Catherine Maltwood and Mary Kane in their work on landscape zodiacs and temples. 9. The harmonic convergence was held in August 1987. Thousands of people gathered together in different sacred sites to create a worldwide meditational link. Roman 2. Science and ecology. Number 10. Absolute zero, however, is super cold only from our Earth experience and in relation to our dense physical existence, which survives within a narrow band of temperature parameters. 11. Matter and antimatter are fundamentally dissociated kinds of energy and form which seek to neutralize each other. 12. Our neighbor star Sirius is 7 light years away. The Pleiades are 410 light years away. All stars visible to the naked eyes are from 4 to 1,000 light years away. The center of our galaxy is 15,000 light years away. A light year is 62,240 times the distance between Sun and Earth. Local galaxies are over 1 million light years away from us. 13. In physics, when a moving or changing body of mass attains a certain impetus or intensity, it goes critical while it gathers energy for a fundamental change into another form. An example of this is water approaching boiling point, in which it is a pause. There is a pause in the heating process as the water makes the conversion from liquid to steam vapor. Number 14. Heavy water is a technology involved in the nuclear industry. If it is released into the environment, there is a risk that it would convert ordinary water into heavy water, thus rendering all water as use impossible. 15. According to the 100th monkey principle, once something new has been learned by a significant percentage of a species, others of the same species will adopt the new principle even if they are not geographically connected to the original group. Rupert Sheldrake has written extensively about this and calls it morphogenic resonance. 16. In the last 115 years, the age of steam engines and cars, carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere have increased by 30% and continue to increase by 3% per year, or 4% of atmospheric composition. About half of the CO2 we produce by fossil fuel burning is absorbed by carbon dioxide consumers like forests, wetlands and ocean plankton, which themselves continue to decline. The other half builds up in the atmosphere. If nothing changes, carbon dioxide levels are set to double between 1990 and 2030. Nitrogen and phosphorus output into the oceans also kills marine plant communities, taking oxygen out of the water and starving other marine life forms. The carbon dioxide factor is a major contributor to the greenhouse effect, which is leading to rising temperatures and climatic change worldwide. 17. Dolphins. The 9 give special attention to dolphins. Their work on planet Earth is seen to be as significant as ours. 18. Chilean fishermen who kill 5,000 dolphins per year for use as crab bait call them tonitas, or silly ones, because they are friendly and easy to kill, and because their fellow mass around a captured dolphin to rescue it, thus become an easy prey themselves. In a 13-year period, 4.8 million dolphins were killed by US registered boats alone, and they are still permitted to kill up to 20,500 per year. The tuna industry kills 110,000 dolphins annually. In the East Pacific, commercial killing for dolphins is done mainly by Japan, Taiwan, Sri Lanka and Peru. Data source World WWF Environmental Handbook 1990. Point 19. To feed our demand for meat and dairy products, we now have 15 billion cattle in the world, each of which contributes 2 liters of flatulence daily. Flatulence contains methane, also produced when land and water are disturbed, which absorbs oxygen. Additionally, 5 billion people then each produce 0.25 liters of flatulence daily. 0.20. Holes in the ionosphere relate to ozone layer depletion caused by CFCs and halogen gases, which eat high-level ozone and remove the ultraviolet filtering shield in Earth's atmosphere. Number 3. Spiritual. 0.21. The chakras are subtle energy centers within the body, traditionally 7 in number. The root chakra between the legs, the sacral centered 3 feet width below the navel, the solar plexus a hand width above the navel, the heart chakra in the center of the breastbone, the throat chakra at the base of the throat, the brow chakra just between and above, between the eyebrows, and the crown chakra at the top of the head. Karma is number 22. Karma is a Sanskrit, North Indian classical language word, meaning action, and its laws often interpreted in the West as the law of cause and effect. Biblical quotes. Now here are many biblical quotes which I will not all cite them because they are cited throughout all the questions, but there are some quite significant ones which I'll just pick here. Gospel according to St. Matthew chapter 7 verse 15. Beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are raving wolves. Verse 16. Ye shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistle? I thought that was very nice. Genesis chapter 1 verse 27. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. Genesis chapter 6 verse 2. And it came to pass when man began to multiply upon the face of the earth, and the daughters were born unto them. And the Lord said, My spirit shall always strive with men, for that he also is flesh. Yet his days shall be 120 years. Verse 4 of Genesis chapter 1. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them. The same became mighty men, which were of old, the men of renown. Revelations chapter 4 verse 4. And round the throne were 24 seats, and upon the seat I saw 4 men and 20 elders sitting, clothed in white raiment, and they had on their heads crowns of gold. Chapter 7. And one of the elders answered, saying unto me, What are these which are arrayed in white robes, and whence come they? And I said unto him, Sir, thou knowest. And he said unto me, These are they which came out of great tribulations, and have washed their robes, and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. Therefore are they before the throne of God, and serve him day and night in his temple. He that sitteth on the throne shall dwell amongst them. Well, it goes on, and I don't really want to go and quote all these scriptures which are mentioned all through the book. There are lots of notes, and quoting Revelation is probably a sign of our times. I'm wishing you a lovely Friday, and yeah, this is the end of the end. One of the best books I ever came across. The only planet of choice. Bye!